All right. Okay. Sorry for that Matthew McConaughey kickoff. So welcome to the Fantasy Tipplers, episode 4. I cooked some shrimp tonight for dinner, and I'm gonna cut shrimp out of my diet for a while because that just tastes just lingers. It was good though, however. So now I've got some good bourbon to wash it down. So in the glass on the right tonight is Mitcher's small batch bourbon. I'm a big fan of Mitcher's. I haven't had a chance to go visit the distillery, but since COVID's over, I really hope to. But you know, I love it's one of the few distilleries where I love every single thing that they put out. That includes the small batch, the single barrel rye, the American whiskey. They also have something called sour mash, which sometimes it's a little hard to find, but it's really, really good. A buddy of mine who had a really good whiskey palate once said that it's kind of like tasting a vintage bourbon, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's a really good take on that. So, Mitchers, go buy it. Oh, if you ever score any of the Mitchers 10-year or 20-year, please save that for a good day till I come over. So, as always, if you would like for me to help you with your fantasy football mock draft, I'm available. Email me at thefantasytippler@gmail.com. All right, so let's get started with news after a little bit of shrimp watching, folks. Okay, there's not a lot of news. With the start of the preseason, thank God, first of all. Start of the preseason, like, we've got a lot of, like, what I call coach speak, player hype. You know, I'll try not to get too much into that. So, actually, there's not a lot of news. But George Kittle signed a 5-year, $75 million agreement, $30 million guaranteed. Boy, he got paid, and good for him. It is one of the biggest tight end contracts ever, probably. And it's a good thing because tight ends historically have been underpaid in terms of their output, especially since it takes so long to produce, and they only kind of like, you know, they hit the third or fourth year, and, you know, it's not as valuable going in, but George Kittle was able to hit it right off the bat. So yeah, hopefully, you know, in relation to kind of like, or comparison really, to wide receiver and running backs, like tight ends should start earning more money because they are valuable. I'm glad he got paid. I'm a favorite. George Kittle right now is my tight end number 1. I have him just edged over Travis Kelce, just because Travis Kelce is older. He never actually got tight end 1 at all last year, and George Kittle did, so that's why I gave him a little bit of an edge. And George Kittle is basically the only person on that San Francisco team. So, other news that I saw was Jalen Reagor was cross-training at all the wide receiver positions. Good. Good. Now remember, never, ever, ever draft a rookie wide receiver in your draft for redraft. But this year, and this year only, I may make an exception for Jalen Reagor. However, I will not waste a high round pick on him. I would definitely wait until after the 8th, unless, and this happened recently, like I was in a draft from the 2nd position and shit got out of hand, like fast. Like I went Zeke Elliott, George Kittle, and then there was just too many good receivers early on. So I took Kenny Galladay next, and then Odell Beckham came to me in the 4th. So I was like, I just kept grabbing them, and all of a sudden I was in a running back panic, and I had to take a running back, like, from there on out, and Jalen Reagor was there in the 9th, and I was like, I might as well take a risk on him, add my wide receiver 3. So normally I would say he definitely needs to be a wide receiver 4 or 5, but I was in a scramble, and then, you know, I never really recovered from that draft. I didn't draft that well in that draft, so, you know, that's why you practice. So, all right, so today we're going to talk about top 12 running back for your draft, not weekly. Those will change as we update as we go throughout the season. So top 12, so obviously number 1. Number 1 is Chris McCaffrey. He's so far ahead of the pack, it's not even funny. I have tried to make the argument to try to put Zeke at number 1 or Barkley at number 1, but if you divide Chris McCaffrey's stats just alone, either touchdowns alone, reception yards alone, or running backs alone, he's still a top 12 across top 10 actually, across the board, and that just puts him in a different level. So you might as well call it Christian McCaffrey tier 1 and the rest are tier 2 that we're going to talk about today. So Christian McCaffrey, number 1, no questions about it. The only exception would be if you're a Cowboys fan, take Zeke. If you're a Giants fan, take Barkley. So number 2 is where I get in a little bit of trouble. I actually have been taking Zeke Elliott at number 2. And the reason why is because of his consistency, his lack of injury risk, lack of injury bug. I mean, no running back, they're always going to get fucking hurt. So, and plus, when he came in last year, the reason why I drafted Christian McCaffrey over him, because he did that holdout thing. And when you do the holdout thing, you don't do OTAs, and you don't do I keep saying spring training. Training camp, it kind of hurts you in your development. Plus, he was training in Cabo, Mexico, and I'm like, was he really training? I mean, it's Cabo. So, so he came in and got bumped down, and he did, I think in most of the draft, he went 3 or 4, and he performed exactly as that, 3 or 4 out of the year. So, I'm bumping him up this year over Barkley, just because Barkley has now the injury bug, and he has a new offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, and the floor is lower for Barkley to me than Zeke. Zeke's floor is higher than Barkley. However, Barkley's ceiling is way above Zeke Elliott. So that each to his own, but I really think you can get more bang for your buck drafting Zeke ahead of Barkley. So at number 3, obviously, I have Barkley, and that's just because he could end the year just blowing McCaffrey and Zeke out of the water. However, I do not trust the New York Giants. I do not trust Jason Garrett, and I do not trust that team to take care of him. The wide receiver core, even though I'm a huge fan of all of their wide receivers, I just don't think they're going to open it up the lanes enough for Barkley to get. Zeke will in Dallas. I don't think they'll open it up to the point where he can get those open lanes. I really think they're going to shut him down this year. So, and he had a really tough schedule this year. Just be aware of that. So, next, number 4, Alvin Kamara. I love Alvin Kamara. I'm a huge New Orleans Saints fan. I'll go Alvin Kamara all day long, especially in PPR, which is what we're talking about today. Alvin Kamara is just it's like honey to me, and I'm a bear. I love him. If he was just a standard running back, I love him. If he was a half PPR, I would love him. And at PPR, are you kidding me? I made the argument to put him at number 3. I just couldn't. I just could not find a way to put him in the top 3. I really wish I could. If you're doing, I will say this. At number 4, right now, and I know we're all starting to get our draft. That's what I spend all day working on. We're trying to get our draft together. Hopefully everybody's doing it online and via Zoom. I'm trying to be safe out there. I'm taking Michael Thomas above Kamara right now. And that's for full PPR and half PPR. And standard, I would probably take Michael Thomas much on the turn. Now there is an argument because of the rarity of running back depth this year. Next year is going to be just a free for all. There's going to be so many free agents running back, and it's going to have wonderful depth. It's going to be like tight ends this year. It's going to be crazy. I'm taking, I always want Michael Thomas to come closer to turn. I hesitate taking him at number 4, but I will, just because it's just going to get one thing on the line that I'm just going to have to go. I would have a strategy in mind to go running back heavy next 3 rounds. I just obviously take quarterback and tight ends like my last 2 picks. So I'm still taking Michael Thomas over Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara is my number 4. Number 5, and a lot of people don't agree with this. Number 5 is still Dalvin Cook. A lot of my leagues last year, a lot of them, I took Dalvin Cook as my running back 2 from the end of the second, sometimes in the third, and man, did that pay off. So this year, everybody's worried about injury. Everybody's worried about contract holdout, and they don't want to blow their pick on that. Here's what I say: depending on how he falls to you, either the 5th or 6th or 7th, I still think he's worth be ranked by number 5th, just because I think he's going to produce. I think he's still got he has all the key players around him, with the exception of Stephon Diggs, but Justin Jefferson is a good replacement for him. And he's showing up. Like, he's not holding out, technically. Like, he showed up for physicals. He showed up for the first day of practice. Now, obviously, I'm still going to look at Alexander Madison later in the round. But, he's still an RB1 to me. And I'm still willing to take him ahead of a lot of these other names here. So, all right, number 6. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I've been trying to avoid this hype train for so long. And a lot of people have him at the number 5. I think that's too high. I just think it's so hard to place him. I have Dalvin Cook floor and ceiling higher than Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now. That could change next week, I promise you. But having him as your RB1, you carry the risk of taking a rookie running back as your RB1s, which honestly, I would never advise to do. RB2, sure, which what I thought he was going to go for going into this year, but circumstances change, and when you stat out his potential, he get right up there in the middle of the pack really quick. Obviously, the reports out of camp, it's Pat Mahomes didn't leverage him, Andy Reid didn't leverage him. He's gonna get the rock. He's gonna get a lot of reps. He's going to make some fantasy points. So the only concern I have on this, if you're picking your draft in the first round and it comes around to you, and you have the choice between Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Derrick Henry, I would take Clyde Edwards-Helaire. However, be very, very aware that the risk that runs when you have a rookie running back, it may take him 3 weeks to really start producing the mega games that you expect from an RB1. So just be mindful of that when you're drafting them. All right, number 7, my boy Derrick Henry. I love this guy. He never gets any love. That's just because the team he's on. He's basically him, and yes, it's basically him. Let's just be honest. I mean, there's A.J. Brown, Ryan Tannehill, maybe Jonas Smith. I don't know. We'll see. But he's going to be a workhorse. Hopefully, if he gets even a 10% increase in his passing game, it's going to be good. So that's why I still have him being, even after a negative regression on touchdown, he's still going to be in top 12, RB consideration. So I have him at a solid number 7. He's like crackers, man. He's fulfilling. He's there. He's not going to go stale, or it takes forever for him to go stale. He's fine. And he's just a stud. I mean, if he can take the punishment. He's still got one more really good year left out of him, and go Derrick Henry. All right, number 8. Nick Chubb. I get a lot of flack about this. So, Nick Chubb. I love me some Chubb. Chubby. So, I was a big fan of him last year. I didn't really target him in draft. I was kind of wait and see. I really loved what I saw. I know everybody talks about the effect of, Kareem Hunt, especially when he came back after his, suspension. I look at it like this. I was kind of off of it too. And knowing this, you may be able to grab Nick Chubb in the second round. It's just my ranking. So, I've already had it done where I got Dalvin Cook and Nick Chubb drafting from the 6th spot. So much fun. Anyway, too bad that wasn't a real team. It was just a mock draft. So Nick Chubb, the new offense that's coming in is going to benefit him so much, it's not even funny. I expect the whole Cleveland Brown team, they were the hot team last year, I expect the whole Cleveland Brown team to take a huge leap forward. That means, Kareem Hunt, legit flex position, Nick Chubb, top 5 running back. However, like always, it's the Cleveland Brown, it's the poorly run team, and you might get burnt like some people did last year with everybody that was on that team. It was one draft. It was like a $5 draft. I took Baker Mayfield in the 7th. It's just, damn you, Baker. Damn you. Anyway, obviously I did not win that league. So Nick Chubb, I'm all about him. I'm not worried about Kareem Hunt. Like, Kareem Hunt basically bumped him out of top 5 consideration, but he didn't bump. For a while there, he was my number 10, but he's just keep climbing his way back up because I just love the floor and the ceiling with him. So next on my list is Kenyon Drake from Arizona Cardinals. Kenyon Drake is obviously a good running back, but the reason why he's fallen so far from my original draft rankings is because it's the system that he's in. If you look at David Johnson last year, in the first, couple of weeks before he got hurt, he was amazing. Top 10, top 8 actually, running back that entire timeline. And then, he goes down, then Chase Edwards comes in, and he's freaking really good, top 12, like those couple of weeks before he went down. Kenyon Drake comes in from Miami, and everybody, I had dropped Kenyon Drake. I was so upset with Miami, I dropped him. I dropped him for Adrian Peterson. I probably shouldn't admit that out loud, but hey, at the time, Adrian Peterson was producing more fantasy points than Kenyon Drake. Well, it felt like it. So Kenyon Drake comes in, all of a sudden, blows it out of the water. So it's the system. So every running back's got the talent, but if you have the right talent for the right system, stars align, boom, everything goes amazing. So I like Kenyon Drake. I like Kenyon Drake a lot, to the point where I'm really targeting him if he falls to the second round. But if I'm in the 9 spot, like where I have him ranked, I'm probably take Devontae Adams right here before Kenyon Drake. Just right before. So next on my list is Josh Jacobs, number 10. Josh Jacobs kind of came up in my rankings. I was kind of turned off by, looking at his offensive coordinator who's never done anything to develop running back. He was solid last year, but he's still a Vegas Raider. And, what are you going to do? So, but I think the talent's there. I heard a story about, Coach Gruden raising holy hell about why he didn't get, Rookie of the Year, yada, yada. So I think he's going to have, chip on his shoulder, try to utilize him to really, punch through this year. And, he's a great, talented running back, didn't really have any major injuries, so I think he takes a big step forward this year. So, next on my list, I don't know why everybody's hating on this guy, Aaron Jones. He's a good running back. Green Bay had nothing to offer except Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, who I don't even think should be drafted this year. Let him fucking ride the bench. A worthless son of a bitch. I mean, I hope he comes back. He's a future Hall of Famer who was good for me a couple years ago, but fuck him. I'm trying to win here. So, Aaron Jones, regardless of what happens, there might be some inconsistency during the middle of the season like there always is, but I still expect him to be a solid RB1, guaranteed 14 points every week. Guaranteed. So, that being said, I still have him lower than most. I think when we did, because we're crazy, we did mock draft in February, he was going at, RB number 5. He dropped out of the top 12. He's gotten jumped back in. I keep looking at him, but can't decide where to put him. So right now, my official draft is number 11. Did I say 10 before? Fuck it. Number 11. This is why you should drink. He's a really, really good RB1 on the turn. That's what he should be going for. So yeah, next, I hate this guy. I don't know why. I have no reason why I don't like him. I just got a bad gut feeling about him. And it's Miles Sanders as my number 12 running back. I don't know. I mean, a lot of fantasy football analysts who I trust and respect and listen to, they have him so much higher. It's I think the highest I saw was RB6. And no one has him really below RB12. My initial rank, I had him at RB15. And he creeped back up because I don't have a good reason not to put him there. Yet nobody behind him except Boston Scott, who I like, but I don't think he's going to take the job away from him. It's Philadelphia. They're going to run the ball. And, I think my bad gut feeling is because I watched him play last year, and I had him on my team last year. Didn't really do much. It was very inconsistent, but he was a rookie. And then just the Doug Peterson system just feels like a bust to me this year. I don't know why. And I'm probably going to have to eat my words on this, but, I'm trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to help you guys draft correctly. So do not miss out on Miles Sanders. Especially if all these other players go before him. Now, a lot of people will draft Miles Sanders ahead of Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, and Keelan Drake. I just think there's people that I have will produce more for you. So that's it for my top 12. I want to mention a couple of honorable mentions so you don't freaking blow up my Twitter. That is, by the way, if you ever want to find me on Twitter, it's _guy_drinks. So have fun with that. Austin Eckler. I am a huge uber fan of Austin Eckler. However, I can't justify putting him in my top 12. He finally fell down to top 13. Number 13. So I will try to grab him every day, all day long. I will actually grab him over Miles Sanders because I really don't like Miles Sanders. But for the point of your drafting, if you were to go, you're at the 12th spot and you just want to go running back back to back, Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler combo, it's going to almost guarantee you a win. Number 14 is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was very, very high on my list at the beginning of the year. And I just kind of kept self-doubting, and I kept going back, looking at his stats, looking at his film, and it's just, here's what it is. Could he finish in the top, 12, top 10 this year? Of course. He's a stud running back. Cincinnati's just a bad fucking team. They're just run bad. Andrew Dalton should have won a Super Bowl. Carson Palmer should have won a Super Bowl. It's just the family that owns it just needs to give it up. The Brown family, whatever they're called, they just need to go by the Cleveland Browns because their names match up. So, all right, well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you get a chance, and I look forward to talking to you guys soon.